do with somebody you've known for a long time, because we've done this once or twice or 30 times, but it's wonderful. So, I've asked you, you love the movie. Colin, what do you think of this?
I really, really enjoyed it, but I must admit, it's a very emotional ride if it's about you. You know,
sure.
There's 60-odd years of my life up there that's been wonderfully told by Robert, but at 60 years... About 60 years it's condensed into an hour and a half, and so it is a very emotional ride to watch it, but in the end, most enjoyable. What he's done, I just say this because we were a little bit worried, there wasn't enough old film. We're so old. People used to sketch us. They didn't take There's very little film of the zombies from the 60s. I didn't know what it is.
There's Stereopticons of him and Rod, if you... No, if there's a movie, Otto Premiture's Bunny Lake is Missing. And there's a band on the telly in the pub.
Yes.
There it is. I mean, it goes back. So, same thing to Rob, our director, our music director, Rob Schwartzman. Yeah, why did you decide to do this?
To make the movie?
Yeah.
Well, because I love the band so much, and I started off in music. I started a band in high school, and Rooney is the band. And I became a full-time musician. But I always loved movies. I wanted to make movies, and then along the way, I kind of got to pursue a life of making movies as well as making music. I never made a documentary. I've made scripted features. So when you're working to a script, it's different than shooting a doc. Because a doc is you're sort of learning as you go, and you want to go pick up a shot and go back. You do that with a scripted movie, but a doc is really shadowing subjects and discovering story points along the way and then crafting the film. But I just felt, if I'm going to make my first doc, I'd like to make a movie about a band, a music story. And I feel the band that hasn't had their story told that really deserves a film is the Zombies. Anyway, so I just felt inspired. It was COVID. We were all sitting around kind of waiting for the world to begin again. And a friend of mine knew the band and put me in touch with the managers and then with Colin and Rod, and we had a great Zoom session, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I sort of pitched the let's go make a movie kind of a thing, and on Zoom, and it's tough to express your emotion and trust people,
If you don't mind, I didn't even ask if it's okay, but his pedigree, Robert Schwartzman, Jason Schwartzman, Mom Talia Shire, Uncle Francis, you have to make movies. You really don't have a choice.
Well, and those are different than docs too. But those are stories. A doc is a story. I think for me, a great documentary is something that's still an emotional experience. I wanted this film. Colin's sitting here, so it's awkward to talk about this with you.
Go ahead. Just make it positive.
With a music film, you track the story that you want to hit the main points. Thank you for bringing the mic in.
Yeah.
But you want to feel the characters. These are characters. These are subjects that we're investing our time in as an audience. So you want to really feel that they're pulling you in on an emotional level. So, but you talk about the filmmakers, actors. Growing up around filmmakers, there's a sensitivity to storytelling and the experience of showing. My grandfather was a musician, so it wasn't just film, it was music too. But anyway, back to the Zombies, I think it was just important that we try to make the best film we can, because I think this was maybe the one chance we'll get to make a Zombies movie, right?
And you killed it. You nailed it. You did.
As long as these guys are happy, that's all I really care about.
They're all very, very happy. I can tell you, I spent the weekend with them in St. Albans, where we come from. You know very well. We were in St. Albans on the weekend, and they were all raving about what Robert's done, and I just think it's a fantastic job.
The most unique part of this story that I don't think any other band has ever had is your album comes out, legendary, psychedelic, Odyssey and Oracle, time of the season, this huge hit that all of us here in America hear every 5 minutes, and the band broke up before we even heard it.
Yes.
Which you must admit is the most bizarre story there is in rock and roll.
It's insane. It's insane.
Were you surprised that that was such a hit? Well, first, let me go back to something we talked about. You know, he hated Time of the Season.
Well, I'm not sure.
Hated it.
It wasn't my favorite track, that's for sure.
That's a polite way of saying it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, it wasn't my favorite track, but what do I know? I mean, this has happened to me more than once. But Time of the Season was the last track that was recorded for the album. We were running out of money. We only had £1,000 to record the whole album in Abbey Road, which is the most expensive studio in the world, probably. And the song had only been written in the morning. I was recording in the afternoon. I didn't really know it, to be honest. I didn't know the tune. I certainly didn't know the words. And Ron Argent from the control, can I swear?
Yes, of course.
Ron Argent from the control room was trying to coach me to sing this song, but I didn't know the tune, and I certainly didn't know the words. I got a red light in front of me proving that the studio's recording, time's going. I had a big clock in front of me, and I could see the hand moving up. We were going to run out of time. And I'm panicking. I'm Rod saying, no. That phrase is on the beat. That phrase is pushed. And the language was getting worse and worse. I'll cut out the middle bit. So, excuse me, if those of a sensitive disposition, please don't listen. So I said to Ron, for fuck's sake, if you know it so fucking well, you come in here and you sing it. And he said, you're the fucking lead singer, you stand there till you get it fucking right. And at the same time, we're singing, it's the time of the season for loving. Sing it on the beat!
Priceless. It's priceless. This journey of a band that broke up and getting back together, and something that Colin explained, that the first shows when you reconnect with Rod, and if I'm remembering correctly, you said, okay, we'll do some shows, but I don't want to make like a big reunion and a tour. I want to do this. Is that correct?
Well, it's the other way around, actually. It was Rod. I had a keyboard player that kept disappearing. If anybody said to him, I would love you to do a show in a little coffee bar 500 miles away, but I want you to play your songs, he was off like a rocket. Your songs was the thing. And I kept turning up at gigs without a keyboard player. And I thought, I am going to have a heart attack if this keeps going. So I phoned Rod and I begged. I said, Rod, I've got 6 dates left. Would you possibly, he was a very successful producer at the time, and I said, would you possibly come out and play 6 dates? And he said, well, I'll do the 6 dates, but I don't want to do any more. And that was in 1999, and we actually finished playing in 2024, so the 6 dates sort of stretched out a bit.
And these guys said, let's do this. And if you're in, we're in. Let's take this journey together. It's one of the most amazing journeys, and I have this tiny little crumb of being able to help. They reached out to me and said, could you write a letter and get them a work visa to come to America, and we'll do some shows. And I said, you didn't know that I had done that, because
I didn't know till just now. Listen, I got some money in my pocket.
At least $5. If you have 5, I'll take 5.
I don't have 50.
So, I'll take a 50. So, the cutting room, the old cutting room on 26th Street, you know, the home away from home where you reference the Beatles, that's the first place I saw you guys play. And you think about this journey of playing these little clubs. And Jason, you didn't start, this man opened for ELO. Yeah. I mean, but you don't start out opening for ELO, you know, it's a journey.
Yeah, well, no, what was really cool was last year Rooney did ELO's farewell tour, and anyone who was at MSG.
Yes.
It was awesome. But that tour happened after the film was already made, really, we were finishing it. But what was really cool was in the film, you know, Colin's first solo tour was opening for ELO on their first tour ever. So it's so weird, like working together then doing ELO's farewell tour.
The serendipity of it is insane.
So bizarre. Anyway,
but
the universe.
It's a journey that, you know, it starts at the cutting room, and then, like in a movie, we do, you know, a wipe, and here we are in the Barclays Center at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, as the zombies are inducted into the Rock Hall of Fame. Yes, it was just, all of us were just so thrilled because you're the nicest, kindest, most talented people any of us in the business have ever worked with. And I'm speaking for all of us. My friend Tom Cuddy is here from iHeart, and musicians, the legendary jazz drummer Danny Gottlieb is here. Clifford Carter, amazing musician, keyboard player, James Taylor, all the jazz things. We worship the zombies. That night when you're there, Barclays, getting this thing, did it all come, did this whole journey like kind of live in your head?
Well, I think in a way it does, doesn't it? But I mean, it was just the most wonderful celebration for everyone who was there. And it's absolutely brilliant to be inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because the fans vote for those bands that are inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but so do your peers do as well. And so it's a kind of a validation of what you've been doing for the last 60-something years. You know, we were always saying we were an emerging rock band, but we just took rather a long time to emerge.
Perfectly said. I mean, that's what it's for the fans. It's for all of us who love you to say, yes, it's validated. You know, we love you, but now there's this sort of stamp on it of what it means. And I think the journey is just, it's incredible. And to encapsulate it, Robert, in this movie, just absolutely hits the spot. Kudos. Congratulations. So welcome. There's one point, I don't want to run too long, but there's a lovely story that Rod had told years back with at Q1043, that when they got Hugh Grundy and got Chris Wright back, tell me if I'm remembering this correctly, that you said to me, we worried that you and Rod said, I wonder if they can play, I wonder if they know the songs. Oh, he knows what I'm going to say. Finish the story, please.
So in 2008, we decided to do the 40th anniversary of the release of Odyssey and Oracle. And the idea was to use the original guys. And sadly, Paul Atkinson has passed away, but Rod and I were playing every night and figured, you know, we were pretty hot. You know?
Yeah.
Hugh and Chris haven't played at all, and so we said, you know, we should really all get together and see if they can still play. So we get together, and they've obviously been practicing, probably for months. They're absolutely note perfect, and Rod and I were absolutely rubbish. But in the end, we had to practice too. And in 2008, we did the 40th anniversary of Odyssey and Oracle. And then we did it the next year, and then we brought it to America, and we've done it several times in America, and we've done it in Europe as well. So it was wonderful after all this time. I think it was released in America in 1968. And this is the first time we ever played the album live in its entirety. It was wonderful. For us, anyway, it was.
It was for us too. You know, the gift for all of us, and for me as well, there's so many young people who fell in love with the late 60s psychedelic British invasion. You know, and I'm not telling you anything, you know, like probably 40% of that crowd was under 25 to see, because Odyssey and Oracle falls right on the heels of Sgt. Pepper's. You know, the Moog synthesizer in Studio 2, the late Jeff Emmer, may he rest in peace, and my dear friend, the engineer for the Beatles, for Peppers, for all of those, for Revolver, was working on Odyssey and Oracle. And it was like the energy, the magic of that time just went into that album. And, you know, all these young people wearing bell-bottom jeans and psychedelic shirts and beads. It was spectacular. It was a beautiful time that you recreated. And it's something we need now, I think, as much as we ever did then. So, all right, I know I could go on forever, but so Colin, what's next for you? What's coming up?
Well, Robert and I are going to tour all over the country. And we're going to play the film. And Robert will explain about the film, how it was made, and he obviously understands in much more depth than I do. And then we're going to come up and play some tunes, and I just think we're going to have a wonderful time in the next 2 weeks. Going all over the states, California, Chicago, Detroit, Washington, all over the place.
You know, I never asked you this before. I never asked you. Is there a difference between like the UK and an American audience?
There is. Yes. American audiences are much more enthusiastic. You're right. I think music means much more to the American public than really it does in the UK. I really believe that, yeah. So that's why it's always, for any British musician, it's so exciting to come and play in America, always.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And so Rob, so you're going to go out and tour with Colin. And then what's next for you as far as films, career, what's up?
Such a big, heavy question. I feel so naked right now. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna, the movie, I'll tell you more about the movie, what's up for the film. We thought it'd be really interesting to screen the film in music venues and then do a performance after like this. So
This was perfect. Am I right?
The movie was in theaters in May, in the US and in the UK. So it was in theaters traditionally. It was you would buy a ticket and see a movie. It plays at 3 and at 5 and all that stuff. But to make it feel different, to get together like this, it feels different in this room right now than just a normal movie screening. This is we wanted to change up the feeling of a movie screening, and you know, with Colin, just being able to get together and do this is so special, and so we're going to take it on the road as we just talked about. So thank you guys for being here again. And hopefully we can do more of this again.
Hells to the yeah.
But yeah, doing the ELO tour was really, really exciting to like just go play again, because I had taken some time off from playing, and then I'm going to make a new album at some point soon and get it out next year, and then go back. Go back on tour next year, full headline run. I'm going out with the Psychedelic Furs this month.
Excellent.
And then I'm starting a new documentary, which is really exciting.
You sure you want to go through that again?
Yeah.
Excellent.
I love it. It's great. Making movies, you know, for me, making movies and making albums, they feel so similar. It's like you find something you really love. Ron was very inspiring making this movie because he always said, "Do it for real." That was like, he kept saying that a lot. That was his line of inspiration. But for all the artists here, you know, do it for real could mean you could interpret that as your own thing. But for me, it was if you're going to do something, do it with everything you have, and do the things you really love to do. So if you're going to make a movie or make an album, do the ones you really want to do that inspire you. So yeah, I love making movies, I love making albums, I love playing shows, and yeah, it's all connected. So.
Keep on going. For Rod Argent, for Chris White, for you, Grundy, we love you guys. We wish you were here. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert Schwartzman.
I will add one more thing. The movie will be out everywhere on demand at the end of July on the 22nd.
Nice!
You just have to know, so you can spread the word and all that kind of stuff. So thank you guys very much.
Robert Schwartzman, Colin Blunstone.